The Volds here, and they are our program today, speaking on Dorridge Dairy, and I think you also did some things at the Super Bowl, if I remember. Am I remembering what I read? Okay, so we are delighted to have you come forward and talk about Dorridge Dairy, and you have up until about 5 to 1 to do so.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Brad Holt. I am one of the members of Dorridge Dairy, and hopefully I can get my projector to work. Well, this is warming up. Just to give you an idea about the Super Bowl, my wife and my 3 children were down to work in the Fuel Up to Play 60 booth, which was at the convention center. I'm getting light, but I'm not getting it on the screen.
Okay. Here it comes.
Slow, but slow and steady. This is obviously my daughter's. I had it sitting here too long. Big Ben, yes, my family took a trip to Europe last year. And obviously that's what you're seeing on the screen. And why is this not coming out? We definitely got a picture. Anyway, so while I'm trying to figure this out, my Suzanne and my three children spent time at the Fuel to Play 60 booth, which is something that is near and dear to the Gen Youth organization and the NFL. It's basically designed to get young people to do, there we go, 60 minutes of activity every day and to use dairy products in their diet as part of a healthy diet. So they had a great time down there. We did not have tickets to the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people were confused by that. The dairy business is not that good. So maybe sometime in the future. But anyway, I thank you today for letting me come to talk to you, and I did know that Larry wasn't going to be here because he left me a message a couple days ago. He said if you have any trouble, you'll find somebody. So anyway, thank you for the introduction. I must confess that I did vote for number 11. I did not know it was the Rotary Club, but it was very good chili. I think people that were sitting at my table had a couple helpings of it, and congrats. So it definitely hit the spot. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our dairy's business, Dorridge Dairy, which belongs to the Vold family. My dad is here with me today, Richard, and the dairy is named after Dorothy and Richard, who is my mom's name, and that's how we come with the name Dorridge. We have been in the U.S. as part of Polk County in the dairy business since 1898, so I am the 4th generation along with my family and my brother Greg, so we have definitely been in the community a long time. But not everybody always knows what we do or how we do it, so that's why it's very important for us to get out and tell our story. Because as we become a very small part of our society, fewer and fewer people really get a true understanding of what we do. So the things that we are faced with on a daily basis is what you see up here on the screen. And this really isn't even funny anymore because we see this all the time in our business. You have somebody walk into a grocery store and she said, can you tell me where the organic, locally grown, vine-ripened, union-picked kiwis are? And the guy says, well, they're right next to the all-biodegradable, never-tested on animals, charity-supporting shampoo. And this is how we have to position ourselves in your fridge. So what I'm going to talk about today with our business is I'm going to talk about sustainability, because sustainability is definitely the buzzword now. And this is the Vold family, by the way. My wife Suzanne, myself, my 3 kids. Maybe know my daughter Anna. She is part of the Wateramba royalty this year, which we're very excited about. My son Eric and my daughter Katie, my parents Richard and Dorothy. My brother Greg on the right with his wife Charity, who was a daycare, and then his 3 kids, Adric, Warren, and Bray. This will take a little while ago because Bray is definitely, well, he's running all over, so I don't think he was very mobile at that point. We're just located, if you know where Shopko is, you go about 3 miles straight south of Shopko and we're right there on the left-hand side of the road, very easy to find. We're about a 460 cow dairy and we run about 600 acres of cropland. And you're familiar with the Land O'Lakes Co-op, or you see a lot of the Land O'Lakes butter and so forth. That is the co-op that we are member owners of. Now, just before we start getting into the sustainability side of our business operates under 5 values. And we have these values in English and in Spanish because a lot of our staff is Spanish speaking only. And we live by these values on a day-to-day basis. Every decision that we make has to pass these 5 values before we'll go forward with it. So the first one is doing common things uncommonly well. That's the day-to-day practices that we operate on our farm. The next one is leaving it better than when we came. That's our environmental statement. So we always want to try to be one step ahead of regulation. We always want to be the ones who are the innovators and again, making sure that we are protecting the environment so it can be passed on to the next generation. Promoting ag through education, that's the reason I'm here today. We have youth groups out, we have retailers out, we have other community groups that come to our dairy or we go speak to. You will never find us at a protest because we feel very strongly that our job is to be a resource and somebody that you can come to if you have questions about what we do. Surrounding ourselves with great people, that is the staff that works on our farm on a day-to-day basis. Some people don't always realize how many people interact with a business like ours. We just had an annual consultant meeting. We had at the chamber office this year, and we had 30 people there. And these are the faces behind of who we are. These are the nutritionists, the sales reps that provide the medications we use on our cows, the finance people, the marketing people, the accountants, the veterinarians. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And people don't always understand that there's a lot of people that stand behind us that people will never see that help us make our decisions. And the last one is our ethical statement, just doing the right thing. And again, we feel pretty strong about that because right now we're in a cycle of very, very low milk prices. So we want to make sure that we work with our vendors and our staff the best that we can with the situation that we're in. So, sustainability, it's kind of a buzzword. The co-op that we belong to, Land O'Lakes, actually has a separate division. It's called Sustain. And their sole purpose is to work with producer member owners on how to become more sustainable in their businesses and in the marketplace. And this is how big this issue is. This was in the Star and Trib 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. And this is something that we see every day. Clear companies are increasingly making commitments to customers that their products would come from fields or barns where farming is done sustainably with minimal damage to the environment. Pretty big statement. So our job, we've actually had Walmart out. Walmart, the CEO of North American Walmart, along with his team and their sustainability officer has been to Glenwood. They've been to our operation. Because if you're familiar with Walmart, their goal is to cut a gigaton of carbon out of the atmosphere by, I don't remember the exact date, 2025 or something like that. We're part of that. It all starts at the farm gate. So they want to know, they want to see, what do you do? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? How are you protecting the environment? How does that fit into our business model? We just had Cisco out about 6 weeks ago from Texas. Same thing. How does the practices that you do on your farm affect how we sell our product to our customers? Pretty big deal. But the good news is they are interested in having farmers at the table to tell our story, to get our input on how they want to have things done. So there's 3 things that we look at sustainability in ag. The first one is the environment. The second one is economy. In order for us to be sustainable, the practice has to be profitable. You know, I'd love to have solar panels and windmills and manure digesters and all those things because they're warm, fuzzy, they're really great. But in our style of business, they aren't profitable. They're actually expense drains. So we can't justify doing those things. And the community. We got to fit into the community. We, I think, are probably still, or we're the first egg business to be a member of the local Chamber of Commerce. And that's a big thing, because for us, we are part of Polk County. We are part of the Glenwood community, so we want to make sure that we're a player at the table. So, what are some of the things that we do on our farm, that are sustainable? The first one there is, if you've ever been out to our dairy in the summertime, you probably find out that we have very few flies. And we do this in a sustainable fashion. We actually we use biologicals. We use wasp larvae that comes from a family out of Texas. And what happens is these wasp larvae, we get them in May, we get them once a week through the end of September, and we scatter these in wet spots around our business. We get 3 gallons worth. These wasp larvae hatch, and they're about the size of a gnat, so you can't even see them. But they go in and they eat the fly larvae, so the fly larvae can never hatch. So if they do hatch, we actually have another product that we use in our facilities that's a natural Corinthium something. It's from a flower, and that is organic, and it also will, well, it kills the flies if they do hatch. And that goes off in our facility 5-6 times a day as a white mist. It's good for the environment, it doesn't hurt the cows, it doesn't hurt people. It's all very sustainable. So this last year, we used, I think, less than 5 pounds of actual fly bait that you buy at the hardware store.